Did you know that most people make the same basic mistakes when cleaning their homes? And worst of all, these mistakes not only waste precious time, but they can also completely sabotage your cleaning efforts. Just imagine, you spend hours scrubbing, organizing, and trying to make everything shine. But ultimately, some bad habits make the dirt come back even faster, or worse. You can't even clean properly. If you're tired of cleaning the same thing several times a week, if you feel like no matter how hard you try, your house never truly gets clean, or if you've lost count of how many cleaning products you've bought thinking they'd solve your problems, then this video will completely change your outlook on home cleaning. Today, I'll show you the 12 most common mistakes that practically everyone makes, and more importantly, how to correct each one so you can finally have a spotless home while spending much less time and energy. Stay until the end, because the last mistake I'll reveal is so common that I bet you make it every day without even realizing it. And when you find out, you'll understand why your house never truly gets clean. Tip 1. Use the same cloth to clean everything. The first mistake almost everyone makes is using the same cloth or sponge to clean completely different surfaces. You grab the same cloth from the kitchen sink and wipe down the table, then the counter, then the bathroom mirror, and finally the floor. It seems convenient, but you're actually spreading germs and bacteria throughout the house. When you use the same cloth in different places, you're carrying bacteria from the kitchen sink to your bedroom, from the bathroom to the living room, creating cross-contamination that makes your cleaning completely useless. It's like trying to dry your body with a wet towel. It simply doesn't work. The solution is very simple. Have specific cloths for each room. One set for the kitchen, another for the bathroom, and another for the bedrooms and living room. If possible, use different colored cloths for each room so you don't get confused. In the kitchen, for example, have one cloth just for cleaning the table where you eat, another for the stove and sink, and another for the floor. Another important thing is to wash these cloths frequently. There's no point in having separate cloths if you leave them dirty for a whole week. Wash them at least every 2 days, and if possible, let them dry in the sun, which is a natural disinfectant. This not only prevents the growth of bacteria, but also eliminates that unpleasant odor that cloths develop when they are damp for too long. This simple step will make your cleaning truly effective because you won't be undoing with one hand what you did with the other. Your home will be truly clean, and the smell will also improve significantly because you won't be spreading odors from one room to another. Tip 2. Using too much product sinking, it cleans better. Many people think that the more cleaning product they use, the cleaner it will be. So they pour half a bottle of detergent on the dishes, use 3 times as much disinfectant as necessary on the floor, and fill the washing machine with laundry detergent. But the truth is, using too much product can be worse than using too little. When you use too much product, you're first wasting money because these products aren't cheap. Second, you're creating a layer of residue that attracts even more dirt. It's like when you wash your hair with too much shampoo, it gets heavy and greasy faster. The same goes for the surfaces in your home. Using too much product can also cause health problems, especially if you have children, the elderly, or people with respiratory problems in your home. Many cleaning products contain harsh chemicals, and using too much can leave the air feeling charged and can cause allergies, eye irritation, and breathing problems. The golden rule is to always follow the label instructions. If the manufacturer says to use 1 tablespoon for every liter of water, use exactly that. If it says to dilute, dilute in the correct proportion. They've conducted tests to arrive at this ideal measurement, which cleans well without wasting water. To save even more and clean better, you can make your own homemade cleaning products. White vinegar and water are excellent for glass and mirrors. Baking soda removes odors and cleans delicate surfaces. A mixture of warm water and a few drops of mild detergent solves most daily cleaning needs. These homemade products are cheaper, less toxic, and often more effective than commercial ones. Remember, cleaning technique is much more important than the amount of product used. Scrub thoroughly, let the product sit for the required amount of time, and rinse thoroughly. This way, you'll see that using less product can give you much better results. Tip 3. Do not let the product act before cleaning. One of the biggest mistakes people make is rushing to clean. They grab the product, quickly apply it to the surface, and then start scrubbing frantically, as if force alone would solve everything. But the chemicals in cleaning products need time to work, and when you don't respect that time, you're wasting product and energy. Each product has an ideal time to act. Degreasers, for example, need a few minutes to break down fat molecules. Disinfectants need time to kill bacteria and viruses. If you apply the product and then wipe it away, the product hasn't had time to do its job, so you'll need to scrub much more and may not achieve the desired result. This is especially important in the bathroom, where you deal with lime scale, mold, and soap scum. When you apply the product and let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes, the grime softens and comes off much more easily. It's the difference between scrubbing for half an hour and killing yourself, or giving it a light wipe and seeing it all come off. The correct technique is to apply the product, let it sit for the time recommended on the label, and only then begin cleaning. While the product is working in one area, you can apply it to another, creating a sequence that optimizes your time. For example, apply the product to the toilet, then the shower, then the sink, and when you return to the toilet, the product has already done its job. For tougher stains, you can even let the product sit for longer. Old grease stains, for example, may need 15 or 20 minutes. Soap residue in the shower stall sometimes takes half an hour. Be patient, because this time will save you a lot of physical effort. An extra tip: to enhance the product's action, you can cover the surface with plastic wrap or a damp cloth. This prevents the product from drying out and maintains its chemical action for longer, especially useful for heavy cleaning tasks you do once a month. If you're enjoying these tips, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any new content. And let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I love hearing about our subscribers out there. Tip 4. Clean from the bottom up. This mistake is very common and wastes a lot of time redoing the same job. Many people start by cleaning the floor, then move on to higher surfaces, and in the end, the floor is dirty again with dust and dirt that fell from above. It's like mopping up ice. You never really finish. The logic behind cleaning is to always work from top to bottom, because gravity causes dirt to fall. When you dust furniture, some of it falls to the floor. When you clean the ceiling or walls, spills and dirt fall to the floor. If you've already cleaned the floor, you'll have to clean it all over again. The correct method is to always start with the highest points: ceiling, ceiling fans, light fixtures, and tops of cabinets. Then work your way down to the medium-sized surfaces: tables, counters, appliances, televisions, and shelves. Finally, clean the floor, which will collect any dirt that falls during the process. This rule applies to all rooms in the house. In the bedroom, start by dusting the upper parts of the wardrobe, then the dressers and nightstand, and finally vacuum or sweep the floor. In the kitchen, start with the tall cabinets, then the refrigerator, stove, counters, and finish with the floor. In the bathroom, the sequence would be first the ceiling and high walls, then the mirror and cabinets, then the sink and countertop, then the toilet and shower stall, and finally the floor. This way, you ensure you're truly cleaning each surface only once. Besides being more efficient, cleaning from top to bottom is also more hygienic because you're not spreading the dirt you've already removed. It's also aesthetically pleasing because you end up with a truly clean floor, which is one of the first things people notice when they enter a room. An important tip: if you use a vacuum cleaner, vacuum the floor after you've dusted all other surfaces. Many people vacuum first and then dust the furniture, which then causes all that fine dust to fall onto the already clean floor. Tip 5. Do not open windows while cleaning. Many people clean their entire house closed off without any ventilation, and this is a mistake that makes cleaning more difficult and even dangerous. When you clean without opening the windows, you're working in an environment with no air circulation, where cleaning product fumes are concentrated and moisture has nowhere to escape. First problem: chemical vapors become concentrated in the environment, and you end up breathing in a very high concentration of these substances. This can cause headaches, dizziness, eye irritation, and respiratory problems. It's especially dangerous if you're using multiple products, because the mixture of vapors can be toxic. Second problem: without ventilation, the moisture from cleaning doesn't dry properly. You wipe the surfaces with a wet cloth, but since there's no air circulation, it takes much longer to dry. This encourages the growth of fungi and bacteria, especially in areas like the bathroom and kitchen. Third problem: without air renewal, you're not actually removing the dust particles and allergens that remain suspended during cleaning. These particles end up redepositing on the surfaces you just cleaned. The solution is to always open the windows before starting cleaning. If possible, open windows on opposite ends of the house to create a draft. This will speed up drying, disperse chemical vapors, and remove airborne particles. If it's cold or windy, you don't need to leave it wide open all the time, but at least keep it open a crack to provide some ventilation. On very cold days, you can open it for a few minutes several times during cleaning, instead of keeping it open all the time. In the bathroom, ventilation is especially important because it's where you use the most chemicals and where humidity is highest. If you have an exhaust fan, turn it on and open the windows. In the kitchen, in addition to the windows, use a range hood or exhaust fan to remove fumes and odors. An extra tip: after you're done cleaning, leave the windows open for a few more minutes to finish drying everything and completely refresh the air in the room. You'll notice that your house smells truly clean, not just like chemicals. Tip 6. Mix different cleaning products. This is a very dangerous mistake that many people make without realizing it. It seems logical to think that if one product cleans well and another also cleans well, mixing the two will clean even better. But the reality is that mixing cleaning products can create dangerous chemical reactions that can poison you and your family. The most dangerous and unfortunately most common combination is mixing chlorine-containing products, such as bleach, with acidic products, such as vinegar or muriatic acid. This mixture releases chlorine gas, which is extremely toxic and can cause respiratory burns, pulmonary edema, and even death in severe cases. Other dangerous mixtures include bleach and ammonia, which releases toxic chloramines, or hydrogen peroxide and vinegar, which can form unstable peracetic acid. Even seemingly harmless products such as baking soda and vinegar can neutralize each other and lose their effectiveness. Besides the chemical hazard, mixing products can cause reactions that stain or damage the surfaces you're trying to clean. Some products can react and form precipitates that stick to surfaces and are very difficult to remove. The golden rule is to never mix different products. Use one product at a time, rinse the surface thoroughly before applying another, and wait for it to dry completely if switching products. If you want to enhance cleaning, it's best to use one product. Let it sit for a while, clean thoroughly, and only then apply another if necessary. If you want to save money and use more natural products, choose safe, tested homemade recipes. White vinegar alone is excellent for removing limescale. Baking soda alone is great for absorbing odors and providing gentle cleaning. Lemon alone is good for degreasing and adding shine. When purchasing industrial products, always read the labels and warnings. Many products warn against mixing with other products. And remember, if you experience any strange odor, burning eyes, or difficulty breathing while cleaning, stop immediately, leave the room, and get some fresh air. Your health is worth more than any cleaning. Tip 7. Scrub stains immediately. When something accidentally spills on the floor, sofa, or clothes, the natural instinct is to desperately scrub to remove the stain as quickly as possible. But most of the time, scrubbing immediately only makes the situation worse, causing the stain to spread and penetrate deeper into the surface. When you rub a fresh stain, especially a liquid one, you force the liquid deeper into the fabric fibers or pores. It's like stepping in pudding on the floor and rubbing it with your foot instead of removing your foot and wiping it away. The stain, which could have stayed just on the surface, ends up spreading over a much larger area. Additionally, the scrubbing motion can damage fabric fibers or scratch delicate surfaces. Many sofas, rugs, and clothing become damaged when scrubbed too hard, creating those marks that never come out. The correct technique for dealing with fresh stains is to always blot first, never rub. If it's a liquid spill, take a paper towel or clean cloth and gently press it onto the stain, absorbing as much as possible without rubbing. Change the paper towel or cloth as it absorbs. For solid stains, such as spilled food, first carefully remove as much as possible with a spoon or spatula without pressing down. Only after removing the solid part should you treat the remaining stain. Once you've absorbed or removed the solids, you can apply the appropriate cleaning product for that type of stain. Let the product sit for the required amount of time, then clean with gentle strokes, always working from the outside of the stain inward to prevent spreading. There's a specific technique for each type of stain. Grease stains respond best to lukewarm detergent. Blood stains work best with cold water and mild soap. Wine stains can be treated immediately with salt to absorb, followed by cold water. The important thing is not to panic and scrub without thinking, as this almost always makes the problem worse. Tip 8. using a wet broom on the floor. This is a very common mistake that makes floor cleaning much less effective and can even damage some types of flooring. Many people wet a broom or mop in water and cleaning product and wipe the floor, thinking they're cleaning, but in reality they're just spreading the dirt around. When you use a wet broom, especially if the floor has a lot of solid dirt like sand, crumbs, or pet hair, you create a paste of dirt that sticks to the floor and becomes much more difficult to remove. It's like trying to clean dishes without removing the food scraps first. You just spread everything around. Furthermore, a wet broom doesn't actually remove dirt, it just moves it around. The dirty water you're wiping on the floor dries and leaves a film of dirt all over it. That's why, even after cleaning with a wet broom, the floor still looks dull and smells dirty. For delicate floors like wood, laminate, or vinyl, a wet broom can cause permanent damage. Excess water can penetrate the seams and cause swelling, staining, or peeling. Even durable floors like ceramic can be damaged if you use a broom with very stiff bristles on a wet floor. The correct way to clean a floor is always in 2 stages. First dry cleaning, then wet cleaning. Always start by sweeping or vacuuming to remove all solid dirt, dust, sand, hair, crumbs, and pet hair. Only after the floor is completely free of dry dirt should you move on to wet cleaning. For wet cleaning, use a well-wrung mop or cloth, never soaking wet. The water should be clean and contain the correct amount of cleaning product. Mop in even motions, rinsing and wringing frequently to avoid spreading dirty water across the floor. If the floor is very dirty, you may need to change the water once or twice during cleaning. And remember, less water is always better. A slightly damp floor dries quickly and gets really clean, while a soaked floor takes longer to dry and can leave watermarks. Before we continue, let me tell you something quick. If you want to earn some real extra income, working from home and learning something that can turn into a profitable business, I've prepared a complete guide where I show you how to make handmade soaps from scratch, which ingredients to use, and even how to sell them to win customers. The link is in the first pinned comment. And please note, the special discount is only for channel subscribers and only for a few days. After that, the price returns to normal. Now let's continue with the video. Tip 9. Not cleaning cleaning utensils. One of the most ironic mistakes people make is using dirty cleaning tools to clean their homes. A broom full of hair and dust, a smelly mop, a vacuum cleaner with a clogged filter, grimy cloths that look like rags from a workshop. How can you clean anything using tools that are dirtier than the area you're trying to clean? When you use a dirty broom, you're spreading all the dirt accumulated in the bristles throughout the house. A dirty mop leaves a terrible smell on the floor and can even stain some types of flooring. Dirty cloths don't absorb dirt properly and can scratch delicate surfaces. A vacuum cleaner with a dirty filter loses much of its suction power and may even return dust to the environment instead of removing it. Furthermore, a poorly maintained vacuum cleaner can develop a bad odor and spread dust mites and bacteria that have accumulated in the filter. Old, dried-out kitchen sponges are veritable breeding grounds for bacteria. That sponge you've been using for 2 weeks to wash dishes has more germs than your toilet. Using one of these sponges is like spreading bacteria all over your dishes and pans. The solution is to create a cleaning and maintenance schedule for your cleaning tools. The broom should be cleaned at least once a week. Remove all hair and debris from the bristles, wash with soap and water if necessary, and let it dry thoroughly before storing. The mop should be washed after each use. Rinse thoroughly with clean water, wring out excess water, and let it air dry. Once a week, wash it with hot water and a little disinfectant to eliminate bacteria and odors. Cleaning cloths should be washed every 2 or 3 uses, depending on what you cleaned. Cloths that have been used in the bathroom should be washed immediately. Always have a spare clean cloth so you don't run out. The vacuum cleaner filter should be cleaned according to the manufacturer's recommendations, usually every month or whenever you notice reduced suction. Kitchen sponges should be changed every week for a maximum of 2 weeks. Investing in the care of your cleaning tools is investing in the effectiveness of your cleaning. Clean, well-maintained tools last longer, work better, and make your home truly clean, not just look clean. Tip 10. Accumulate dirty dishes for several days. Letting dishes pile up in the sink for days is one of the most common mistakes and one that makes cleaning the kitchen the hardest. Many people think it's just a matter of organization, But in reality, washing dishes that pile up is much more laborious, uses more product and water, and can even cause hygiene problems in the kitchen. When you leave dishes dirty for too long, food residue sticks and dries, creating crusts that are very difficult to remove. That pan you could clean with a sponge the day you used it will need to be soaked in water 3 days later, and you'll have to scrub a lot to get it clean. Besides making cleaning difficult, piled up dishes attract insects like flies, ants, and cockroaches. Food scraps ferment and create an unpleasant odor that spreads throughout the kitchen. Not to mention, dirty dishes and pots take up all the sink space, making other kitchen tasks difficult. From a health perspective, dirty dishes piled up are a breeding ground for bacteria. These microorganisms can contaminate other foods and kitchen utensils, causing intestinal problems for the entire family. The solution isn't necessarily to wash each dish immediately after use, but rather to create a system that prevents excessive accumulation. A good strategy is to wash dishes at least once a day, preferably at night, to wake up to a clean and organized kitchen. If you cook a lot or have a large family, you can divide the task. Wash the more delicate and less dirty items immediately after use, and leave the dirtier pots and dishes to wash together at the end of the day. To make cleanup easier, always remove any food scraps from your dishes before placing them in the sink. If you used a pan that stuck to your pan, run hot water over it as soon as you're done using it and let it soak while you eat. This will soften the dirt and make cleaning much easier later. Always have good quality detergent and a new sponge. An old sponge and weak detergent will cost you much more time and energy to achieve the same result. A tip for those short on time: organize your dishes in the sink strategically. Place items that need to soak at the bottom and those that are easy to wash at the top. This saves you time and prevents you from having to move everything every time. Tip 11. Use expired or improperly stored products. Many people don't realize that cleaning products also expire and lose their effectiveness, or they store them haphazardly in inappropriate places that compromise their quality. Using an expired or poorly stored cleaning product is like trying to clean with plain water. You waste time and energy, but don't get the desired results. Cleaning products contain chemical components that degrade over time. Disinfectants lose their ability to kill bacteria and viruses. Enzymatic products that break down fat and protein become inactive. Bleach loses its whitening power. You end up using the product thinking it's cleaning, but in reality, it's just wetting the surface. In addition to losing effectiveness, expired products can develop strange odors, change color or consistency, and in some cases, can even be harmful to health. Some products can form crystals or sediments that clog sprayers and damage surfaces. Improper storage greatly accelerates product degradation. Leaving cleaning products in the sun, in very hot places like on top of the washing machine, or in very humid places like under a leaky sink, can cause them to lose their effectiveness long before their expiration date. The ideal temperature for storing cleaning products is room temperature in a dry, airy place. Avoid locations that receive direct sunlight or are too hot. The cleaning cabinet should be organized and clean, as dirt and moisture can contaminate the packaging. Always check the expiration date before using any product, especially those that have been stored for a long time. If the product changes color, consistency, or smell, discard it even if it's still within its expiration date. For products you rarely use, such as those for heavy monthly cleaning, opt for smaller packages. It's better to buy a small product that you'll use up within the expiration date than a large one that will expire before you finish it. Always keep packaging tightly closed. Products with poorly closed lids lose volatile components and can contaminate. Spray bottles should have a properly adjusted trigger to prevent leaks. An important tip: don't mix new products with leftovers from old products in the same container. If there's little product left in the spray bottle, discard it and add new product. Mixing can cause unwanted reactions and compromise effectiveness. Organize your cleaning cabinet so that products closest to their expiration date are at the front, so you can use those that are about to expire first. This prevents waste and ensures you always use products at their maximum effectiveness. Tip 12. Not having a logical cleaning sequence. The last mistake, and perhaps the most common of all, is cleaning without following a logical order, doing the job haphazardly and inefficiently. Many people clean as they see dirt, without planning a sequence that optimizes time and results. The result? They end up cleaning the same thing over and over, wasting a lot of time, and becoming unnecessarily tired. When you don't follow a logical order, you can end up dirtying something you've already cleaned. For example, you clean the kitchen floor, then go to clean the stove, only to have grease splash onto the clean floor. Or you clean the living room table, then go to dust the bookshelf, only for the dust to fall onto the table. It's a never-ending task that never gets done properly. Another problem is that without a set sequence, you end up getting distracted and wasting a lot of time deciding what to clean next. You're going back and forth between rooms, picking up and putting down utensils, wasting energy that could be used for cleaning. The logical cleaning sequence should follow some basic principles. Always from top to bottom, always from inside to outside, always from cleanest to dirtiest, and always ending with the floor. Within each room, first organize and remove what doesn't belong there, then dust high surfaces, then medium surfaces, then vacuum or sweep, and finally mop the floor. The ideal order of rooms is usually bedrooms first, then living room, then kitchen, and last bathroom. This prevents you from carrying germs from the bathroom to other rooms. Within this order, always start with the least used rooms and finish with the master bedroom. An efficient sequence also takes into account the time the products need to work. For example, you can start by applying the product to the toilet and shower, then move on to cleaning other rooms while the product works, and then return to finish the bathroom. This way, you optimize your time and let the products work while you perform other tasks. Always keep all your products and utensils organized in a bucket or basket that you can carry from room to room. This prevents you from having to go back and forth to retrieve items, wasting time and losing the cleaning routine. Also, set a specific day of the week for each type of cleaning. For example, Monday is bed linen change day, Tuesday is bathroom deep clean day, Wednesday is vacuuming day, and so on. Having a set routine prevents you from forgetting to clean something and prevents dirt from accumulating. A valuable tip is to time your cleaning at the beginning, so you know exactly how much time you spend on each task. This helps you better plan your time and understand whether you're being efficient or wasting time at any stage. Remember that having a routine doesn't mean being inflexible. If you notice something needs special attention that day, you can adapt your routine. The important thing is to have an organized starting point, not to follow the routine robotically. Now that you know the 12 most common mistakes that sabotage your cleaning efforts, it's time to put these tips into practice and completely transform the way you maintain your home. Remember that small changes in your habits can yield huge results. You don't have to implement everything at once. Start by correcting one mistake a week, and you'll see how your cleaning becomes more efficient and less tiring. The most important thing is to understand that cleaning isn't about brute force or spending a fortune on expensive products. It's about technique, organization, and consistency. When you stop making these basic mistakes, you can have a consistently clean and organized home while spending much less time and energy. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these mistakes were you making without realizing it? Which tip made the biggest difference in your cleaning routine? Tell me in the comments because I love reading your experiences and answering your questions. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe now and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any tips that can make your home life easier. Every week I bring you new content on organization, cleaning, and home care. Let me challenge you. Choose 3 mistakes from this list that you know you make. And for the next 7 days, focus on correcting just those 3. Then come back and tell me if you noticed a difference in your cleaning results. I'm sure you'll be surprised at how much cleaner your home can be just by correcting these small details.